There's a number that doesn't get talked about enough. In most developed economies, less than 3% of the population achieves true financial independence. Wealth that generates enough passive income to cover their lifestyle indefinitely. Before traditional retirement age. Not 10%, not 20%, 3%. And here's what makes that number genuinely disturbing. The other 97% are not lazy. They're not unintelligent. Many of them earn good incomes. Many of them work extremely hard. The problem is not effort. The problem is 4 specific psychological patterns, invisible, deeply wired, and almost never questioned, that quietly redirect every income increase back towards zero. The wealth gap is not primarily an income gap. Studies of lottery winners, people handed life-changing sums of money overnight, consistently show that the majority return to roughly their pre-lottery financial position within a few years. That is not bad luck. That is the operating system reasserting itself. The psychological patterns that produce the original financial position simply produce it again, regardless of how much external capital is introduced. This means that closing the wealth gap requires a different kind of work than earning more money. It requires reprogramming the operating system. Today, we name the 4 patterns keeping 97% locked in place, and the 4 replacements that the 3% have installed. The single most wealth-destroying behavioral pattern in modern life is what behavioral economists call lifestyle synchronization, the automatic, near-unconscious tendency to increase spending in direct proportion to every income increase. Earn more, spend more. The car gets better. The apartment gets larger. The holidays get more expensive. And the gap between income and savings stays exactly the same regardless of what the income does. The 3% practice a fundamentally different behavior, lifestyle lag. When income increases, they maintain the previous lifestyle for a defined period, 1 year, 3 years, and redirect the entire delta into wealth-building assets. Sam Walton drove a pickup truck worth a few $1,000s while running a company worth billions. This is not frugality for its own sake. It is the deliberate decision to allow wealth to compound before lifestyle expands. The implementation. The next time your income increases, commit to maintaining your current lifestyle for 12 months and investing the entire difference. That 12-month window of lifestyle lag can permanently alter your financial trajectory. Human brains are wired to dramatically overvalue the present and undervalue the future. Behavioral economists call this hyperbolic discounting, the tendency to prefer smaller rewards now over significantly larger rewards later, even when the math overwhelmingly favors waiting. This is why most people spend today's dollar rather than investing it. Not because they lack intelligence, because their brain's default reward system is optimized for the immediate, not the eventual. The 3% have developed a specific counterweight to this bias. They make their future self vivid and real. Jeff Bezos has spoken about making major decisions by imagining his 80-year-old self looking back. He has effectively made his future self a present decision-making partner. The implementation. When facing any significant financial decision, write a brief paragraph from the perspective of your 65-year-old self. What does that person want you to do right now? This technique has been shown to significantly improve long-term financial decision quality by reducing the psychological distance between present and future self. The most invisible and most powerful of the 4 patterns is identity. The way you talk about money, the story you tell about your relationship with it, is not just language. It is a behavioral blueprint that your actions follow with remarkable consistency. Behavioral psychology research suggests that people act in alignment with their self-concept, even when it directly contradicts their stated goals. If you identify as someone who isn't good with money, you will unconsciously make decisions that confirm that identity. The 3% have rebuilt their financial identity at the foundational level, not through affirmation, through deliberate behavioral evidence. They make one wealth-aligned decision, then another, until the accumulated evidence changes the story they tell about who they are. The implementation. Identify one financial behavior you associate with wealthy people. Reading one financial book per month, automating a fixed monthly investment, maintaining a spending journal. Perform it consistently for 90 days. You are building behavioral evidence for a new identity. Identity follows behavior when behavior is consistent enough. Here is the pattern that produces the most acute financial damage, and the one that looks the most rational from the outside. The 97% make financial decisions based on what the majority of people around them are doing. They buy when the market is high and sentiment is euphoric. They sell when the market is low and sentiment is panicked. Warren Buffett's most famous principle captures the inversion the 3% practice. Be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful. Verify. This is not contrarianism for its own sake. It is the recognition that consensus financial behavior, by definition, produces consensus financial outcomes, which is never extraordinary wealth. The implementation. Before your next significant financial decision, ask, am I doing this because it makes rational sense given the fundamentals, or because the people around me are doing it? If the honest answer is the latter, pause. Think independently. That pause, applied consistently, is worth more than most financial strategies. The 3% don't have secrets. They have a different psychological architecture running beneath their financial decisions. Lifestyle lag instead of lifestyle synchronization. Long game thinking instead of time discount bias. Abundance identity instead of scarcity identity. Asymmetric positioning instead of consensus behavior. None of these are natural. All of them are chosen. And all of them are learnable. The compounding of these 4 replacements, over 5 to 10 years, produces outcomes that appear extraordinary from the outside, and inevitable from the inside. The 3% aren't luckier. They're operating on a different system. And systems, unlike innate talent, can be installed. The implementation. Pick the one pattern, out of the 4, that you most clearly recognize in yourself right now. Not the most impressive one, the most honest one. Address that first. The operating system change begins with the first pattern you replace. 97% stay in place not because they lack income or intelligence, but because of 4 deeply wired psychological patterns they've never named. Name them. Lifestyle synchronization, time discount bias, scarcity identity, consensus behavior. Replace them with lifestyle lag, long game thinking, abundance identity, and asymmetric positioning. One replacement at a time, one decision at a time. That is how the operating system changes. And when the operating system changes, everything built on top of it changes with it. If this changed how you think, subscribe. I break down these frameworks every week, the psychology, habits, and mental models of the world's highest performers, distilled into tools you can apply today. Drop a comment. Which of these 4 patterns do you recognize most in yourself?